And I used to talk to this girl until one day my sister called me. She said, "What I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to believe it. She's getting married. This time, I've told my dad, I want this girl coming." And my dad was like, "Okay." And dad was at a meeting with her. How can we support her? What are we going to do? And she has a letter of invitation. She has an I-20.
Hi, everyone. Welcome yet to another episode. Jamhuri Fresh Off the Boat is an podcast, is an entertaining, informative podcast that shares the real-life experiences of Kenyans who dare to step beyond their villages and engage the wider world. From culture shocks to career breakthroughs, we explore the highs, the lows, lessons, the faith that carried them through navigating life beyond borders, because we know it's not necessarily easy. It takes a lot of, you have to be very courageous to move from point one to leave everything that you know for something quite unknown. So I would like my guests to introduce themselves and what they do.
Thank you very much for having me here. My name is James Kimeu. I usually go with Kimeu.
Mm-hmm.
I am a proud Kamba, and I'm sure we'll get to that in a moment. But currently, I work for the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative.
Okay.
It's headed in New York, but they have an office here in Nairobi.
Right.
And there, I lead their resource mobilization for both country and region, which covers Africa.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Are we, now that you just said AIDS, you just can't say AIDS and exit the WhatsApp, it's like,
Right.
are we getting better at it in terms of, do we have less death rates?
So the work IAVI does is on research to look for vaccine for HIV.
Oh, wow.
There has been a lot of ground covered
Yeah.
in terms of medical research that has informed way beyond HIV. And there has been many solutions found. I mean, I think the last one is the Laka. Anyway, I can say that name now. But it's a medication that you get 2 shots a year.
Oh, wow.
And it can prevent AIDS fully.
Oh, wow.
Its efficacy, which means basically the protection rate is like 100%.
Oh, wow.
So right now, there are some agencies that are working very hard to see if they can bring the price of that dosage to be cost effective.
Right.
That way, then you can have more people being able to get that kind of treatment. But the ultimate goal is to get a vaccine. Then you
Right.
can actually eradicate. So that continues.
Won't we be like the most vaccinated human beings here on Earth? Because now the number of COVID vaccine, the number of all those vaccines is just going higher and higher.
Yes, but I think eventually we will need lesser vaccines, right?
Yeah.
Because the more you eradicate particular diseases, the lesser you actually need those vaccines eventually. You kind of get the herd immunity
Okay.
by vaccinating. But it's a whole new world. I never knew there was this part of the world until about a year and a half ago when I joined this organization.
Yeah.
Because research is very, very tasking and it needs very brilliant minds. So I'm very lucky to not be a scientist, but work with some of the brightest minds.
Well, that's wonderful. I love how you've just put it. It's, the honor you've given to the bright scientists. But because we're not here necessarily to talk about that,
Right.
I want to talk about your journey.
Yes.
Like, what made you leave Kenya to go to the UK?
The
You went
US.
to the US,
Yes.
right?
I would say some people would have very insightful, inspiring moments where they say, this was the moment. Let me tell you, I grew up as a village.
Ooh.
By all means and measure, right? And when I was done with Form 4, which I didn't care to school, my dad used to get so frustrated because the teachers would say, your son is smart, just doesn't put it.
Ooh.
That was true. So when I left high school, I was ready to marry and settle down. I had a village girlfriend, and I convinced my grandmother this was the brightest thing a human being can do at this time.
At 17, you were ready to get married?
Yes. I turned 18, and I thought, this is it. Now I make decisions. Listen, man, my dad was a smart man because he refused to give me his old house that he used as a chicken house.
Right.
Because I was ready to renovate. Nilianza kupanda nyanya. I was farming and I was doing well. I collected 14,000 shillings back in 2004. That was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
And I was ready to renovate this house and marry.
And the fact that you were already even thinking, how can I bring resource just from planting tomatoes? That was already, I think the beginnings of an entrepreneur were already being developed in you.
Exactly. So so my dad said, I need you to go to college like your sibling. So a year went by, and one day my mother looked and said, I want you to look around. I've been here for 60.
Wow.
Show me one farmer who has become rich because of farming on the streams of the river. And we started from one hill all the way down.
That was smart.
And then he told, you will be such a sad washing your brothers' sisters' cars for them to give the shield. That hit me hard. Dad arrived that weekend. I said, Dad, I want to college. The long and short of it, I went to a small college called Agastana in Kasarani. Now it's no longer in it. It was more like a bridging course.
Right.
And I did very well. And that launched me to really not my own initiative. That was my dad and my older siblings. My dad was a warrior because I was a cheeky guy. So he said, okay, you take care of it. That's how I ended up. I had like 3 days notice after I got my visa. Like, all right, you're leaving.
And this was an initiative from your siblings? And
yes, I mean, I did the application. I went, of course, I prepared for the embassy, but with a lot of push.
Right.
It wasn't like one of those
I
things
know.
like,
Going to America for me was like that because I'd been to South Africa. So I really wanted to get back to South Africa. But my parents were like, no, you got to go join your brother in Massachusetts. And so it was a push. It was a push on both sides.
Right.
Like, you got to do this. I don't regret it now because it really changed who I am.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I had really loved the vibe of South Africa. Yeah. Yeah,
I had never cared. My brother had gone there. My sister was there. It wasn't something like I grew up
like you
thinking.
had a dream of. And so where did you end up when you went to the U.S.?
So I went to St. John's University. That's a small liberal arts college in Minnesota.
Okay, Minnesota.
70 miles north of the Twin Cities.
Okay.
Minneapolis and St. Paul. So that's where I did my undergrad for a year, of which I worked for a year, then ended up in a master's program 2 years till I finished it early. And then I transitioned back here for about 2 years, worked in Kenya.
Okay, so no, you're moving too fast.
Okay.
So I want to know, you traveling to, okay, so now you got the visa.
Yes.
How was your interview?
Terrible. Terrible. I mean, I must have had a lot of people praying for me.
I actually think you have a whole lot of people praying for you.
You can imagine, I show up at the embassy and there was one area I had not filled. And you know how you leave your phone at the gate?
Right.
I get there and there was a reference. That I think one or two references. And I had not filled that for whatever reason. I don't remember if I had the documents or I forgot, whatever. So I politely requested if I can be given a few minutes to run back, get my phone. I did. My dad helped me fill in it, went back in. Then in the process of that, there's usually a question about which country has given a passport, right?
Right.
In the confusion of an 18-year anxious guy going for an interview with them.
And the environment of the embassy itself.
And
so that also adds baridi to another level.
And that was the first time I wore a suit, which was oversized. Careless. So I answered the question, USA.
Ooh.
That lady looks at me and says, you have a passport from the USA and you're here looking for a visa. That time, visa and passport sound like the same thing in my head.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
And she lifted the thing to stamp that pink slip and the tears went. And she stopped and looked and said, please just look. And this time I'm feeling like I'm failing the entire empire that has been doing this.
Pushing you.
I know this is not my initiative.
Right.
But really, can I really fail at this moment?
Yes.
So then I sat there and I waited. Now she helped me. She let me go. So now you wait for the lady who does the real interview. And there was like 6 of us and I was like number 4. The 3 in front of me all failed.
No one says how that affects your confidence.
No, man,
because it's like
ready
after
to fail.
every fail, your confidence, your confidence. Yes, it drifts down. It drifts down. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Wasn't the one lady in front of me? I mean, she was this pretty lady who looked so polished, clean English, study study way. Then comes me. I was so sure I'm done. Like I was gone. Like this was not next. But the lady asked me like 3 simple questions. And then I handed over my nicely organized, clear file.
Yes.
But I think we had a letter from a very powerful person at the time.
Okay.
So miracles worked there and I walked out with a visa. The way they say, leave your passport.
Right.
Singing hallelujah all the way. So it was a good feeling.
I know.
It was the first
That's
time
like
in
a
my
God
life
moment.
I remember feeling like, yes.
You want something. I remember, I think one of the incidents I'll never forget, the lady who went in front of me got fright, serious fright. And so I just had the lady going, are you going to say anything? Are you going to speak to me? And she just, and I was was like, oh my God, that better not be me. My tongue better not be tied when I get there. I know. And she was quiet. And finally, the lady was just like, when you can speak, you can come and apply for your visa. And she left. And I thought, oh God. Yes. So like it was just like a dull day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I got it. So that was...
No. Those days, you would go to the embassy so early in the morning.
Absolutely.
And then you wait there, and then you queue. So that entire process just confused. And then you start getting unnecessary advice.
That's true. From the soldiers pushing you on the side, the cold outside.
I know.
Yes.
Some guys coming and saying, what are you in for? Oh, those are really hard to get. You're like, oh, great. Thank you.
I
really
needed to
that.
Okay, that's good. So let's fast forward. So you get it, and now you're on a plane. Yes. So we always have this question we ask, like, how did you carry your Jamhuri there? And that really means that when you're traveling, you're going to kind of get out. Sorry, you're going to get homesick. And so you carry something that represents Kenya for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I carried teas, I carried frozen chapatis, I carried frozen sausages, I smuggled them in, So what did you, did you carry anything?
My bags were filled because my sister was going to receive me. She was going to a sister school. Now they have combined both universities.
Right.
It was called the College of St. Benedict. But anyways, she was the one to receive me.
Yes.
My brother had left Minnesota and went to East Coast.
Yeah.
So my bag was full, and I think that was between my parents and her. I think I was so uninvolved.
But do you remember what they put?
Oh, yes. There was unga. There was tea. There was even roiko.
Right.
There was a lot of those, and my sister liked cooking, so there was a lot of spices and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that your first flight ever outside the country?
Yes.
Do you remember it? Any highlights of it?
I remember the airport, other than when I was in class 8 and we had gone to the airport. I had never been to the airport, right? So I get to the airport, and there was this Uber's taxis.
Right.
I forget the name. They used to escort dignitaries, so like people arriving to come for whatever organizations or conferences, and they were allowed to escort you through. So Dad paid one of those to get me through the lines.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of had a smooth
entry into.
But what hit me was when I got inside, I realized this is the moment now. Actually, everybody is
gone, right?
It. Then you get the speakers and like, do what boarding wears, do what, and it hits you like, wait a minute, I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm going to Amsterdam. Oh my God. And you're looking at your thing and you're confirming and you're asking 6 different people.
Is this the gate that I should go to? I know.
Until I got in the plane and thank God. And then the thing took off. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I thought the plane will feel like, but it was not what I expected.
Right.
I thought we were going 1,000 kilometers an hour on ground.
Mm.
And then you feel when you leave the ground and your stomach drops.
Right.
And your fear of heights. And you're shaking and you're holding on the seat.
I know. I hated takeoffs and landing, and plus turbulence. All of those things are not my cup of tea. Yeah.
So, some people are really nice. There was a lady, I think, sitting across me. I was on the aisle seat. And, is it your first time? Don't worry, and then she comforts you, and then you're talking to them, and then, So the flight felt forever. And then from London, this was...
So you were connecting through London?
Actually, through Amsterdam.
Okay.
From Amsterdam to Minneapolis, something strange happened. We landed there at 6 a.m., left at 10, and after flying 8.5 hours, we landed in Minneapolis at noon.
Like time.
And I was like, wait a minute. It's noon? I eat lunch 3 times. Like, what's going on here? Like, what is happening?
Right.
So that whole thing and the transition and actually now getting the realizing how many hours away you are from your home. It hits different.
Right.
Whose idea was this? Okay, fine. I'm going to be fine.
So did you go through culture shock? So now you land and you're fine. At least you were being received by a family member. So it wasn't so foreign, right?
Culture shock number 1 was seeing my sister.
Why did she
Now-
have pink hair?
I've not seen my sister in 2 years.
Okay.
And she left, a big girl. She's GB1. She's so tiny. I
Okay.
mean, she's shorter than me, okay? So we're
Right.
little people. But I get down the escalator and I see her. Like, oh my God. What happened to you? Like, I couldn't think of anything else. I'm like, what happened to her? And then everything except her is big. Bigger than big. It didn't matter whether it was a cup people were having
Right.
coffee in,
Yes.
or the pickup trucks on the road, or the road itself.
Yes. Yes.
Even people were big. You look and you wonder, whoa,
Yes, people are big.
everything is extra large.
That's true.
And there's always bigger than extra large.
And you could order something big,
Yes.
not like a large coffee. And you're
Exactly.
just like, what is a large coffee? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
yes.
that bigness. And then the third thing I'll say is the smell. It's so distinct. To this day, I wish I got the words to describe.
Okay.
I grew up rural, so Minnesota is rural. Live Minneapolis, we get,
This is another different type of rural.
the smell was so distinct.
Mm-hmm.
And it took forever to.
Can you describe what the smell was? Now I'm curious.
It felt like the air you breathe was heavier.
Right?
And it had a mix of, I don't know, some kind of manure, fertilizers, grassy, fresh cut grass kind of. I don't know. And then it was summer, so it was very hot and musty.
Right.
So that smell just was so, it bothered. I was like, can't breathe here, people. You can't breathe in this.
Especially in summer, if it's heavy, yes, you can't quite breathe. It's like Mombasa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me. And then there was nobody on the road.
Mm.
Like, you see the way you see, like, we left Minneapolis, like the main airport,
Right.
driving down the road, and not a single soul was walking.
Wow.
So I thought, this is a city. And then as you go down the highways, nobody.
Right.
As you get to the neighborhoods, no one.
Mm.
At one point, I asked, are there no children in the street? Or they're in the house? There's two. What are they doing in there too? So it was so strange the way everything was. There were no fences.
That's true, but the fences are there.
Right?
Right, because if you tried to stand there,
Right.
yeah. You'd be caught so quickly.
There's no physical.
There's no physical fence, but the
Houses
fence
are
is
just
stronger.
like this with a green yard in the front.
Right.
And a sidewalk. There's no fence. There's no wall. There's no leafy fence.
Yes.
So those were very shocking things to observe. I mean,
That's nice. That's very well said.
yeah.
Well, you also, apart from things being large, one of the things that I found so interesting is how loud they were.
Yes.
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 So even if you're taking your order,
Yes.
you would try and be harsh about it.
Yes.
You're like, 2 sausages and chips. And I'm like, you want 2 sausages and chips? Like they're telling the whole crowd. You're like, dude, I'm just right here. So I always, all the way from the visa interview, how loud they are all the way
Yes.
to there. I just thought, why do you have to be this loud?
Yes, we have this sense
Especially
of
when-
privacy.
On personal issues, you know what I'm saying? If it's a joke, it's different.
Yeah.
But if I'm asking you what you want to eat because I don't know how much money you have, why would you be advertising what I want to eat to the whole?
People are very open with what we consider personal. It's not that personal.
Right.
Like, I remember day one of class and this girl is there talking. Angela speaks, my good friend. And the professor walks in. She doesn't stop. What are you talking about? My boyfriend. You're 18. In my head, I'm thinking, this is the professor, you're 18.
Yeah, you should show
Yeah,
respect.
he's in the military. Oh my God, where is he deployed? And I'm like, oh my God, who are these people? Like, we don't say that loud. And they're like, do you have a girlfriend? I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Shut
what
up,
happened
shut
to
up,
the
shut up,
village
shut
girl
up,
that
shut
you
up.
were gonna marry? You left a broken. There's a girl who's broken-hearted in the village because you went to Minnesota.
You had to bring it up.
I'm sorry.
It was the first time I was heartbroken.
I know,
It was
you were
actually
18.
the opposite.
Oh, really? You were committed?
I committed. I looked for a visa for this girl. I was ready to do what it took. I bought a phone and sent it home. Somehow.
You were those people?
And it got to the village, and I used to talk to this girl until one day my sister called. She said, well, I'm going to tell you, and I can't believe it. She's getting married. This time, I've told my dad, I want this girl coming. And my dad was like, okay. And dad was at a meeting with her. How can we support her? What are we going to do? And she has a letter of invitation. She has an I-20.
From you?
Yes. And now she's getting married.
To another village guy?
Yes.
Okay, well. They deserve teaching.
Was I not heartbroken? I made that call. Hello, please tell me this is not true. What? Are you getting married?
Oh my gosh.
And after a whole 30 seconds, maybe. That's how that ended.
So how long had you guys, so after you went, you still kept a long distance
This
relationship?
is like almost 8 months in.
Ooh. And so there's no way she could have just had known that person immediately. So she was kind of juggling between the two. Okay, I'm so sorry. It wasn't about relationship.
No, it was
But
good.
that's such a very interesting fact that you were heartbroken.
Yes, I was so heartbroken. I was like, I was going to marry this girl.
Yeah, and her life would have been so different.
So would have mine. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, she wasn't faithful. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing.
Focus on what brought me to America.
I know.
Not where I left.
No, but it shows something about your personality that when you commit, you kind of keep the commitment because you're committed to the nyanyas.
Yes.
You know? Yes, and even when you said that was the village girl, because a lot of people, I mean, as soon as they get on the other side, I mean, they're girls, they are pretty girls,
Oh, yes.
you know what I'm saying? So you're like, forget her, you know? So the fact that you did, I think that's a good thing. You shouldn't, you should look at it from that you stayed committed to your word, even if she didn't keep her part.
That is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that.
It's
It's a very interesting story.
Many years ago.
I know, but it's also... We've never gotten into this far and then gotten straight into a heartbreak. So that's another culture shock.
That
so
is the American in me now.
I know, huh?
What is personal is not personal anymore. Hey, let's go. Some things I took with me. Oi.
They're gonna finish me. So that's true. So 8 months in, you're already heartbroken.
Yeah.
8 months in, you're going through culture shock. Everything is big. Everything sounds very loud. And then you're navigating of course, like your sister is tiny. But I know I also met my brother, but he was very different from what I was. When he left me, I was a baby. And now I'm a grown woman with my opinion and thoughts. And so there was just that moment of like, okay, so, you know, it's like reintroducing ourselves again to each other.
Right.
Because what we were, we've all grown, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, and there were challenges in that, you know? Yeah, but I'm so glad that he really covered me, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like he really, oh my God. Thank you if you're listening. Yeah, because I was a bit of a rebel, you know, so he covered me. So do you want to touch on the dynamics of, okay, so now you're working, now you are studying. What are the odd jobs you were doing?
The first job I ever got was security officer.
Ooh, okay.
And some experiences are very different.
Right.
I remember my sister taking me up to the college, and we drove in, parked the car, and then we walked around. Summertime, students are not there. I arrived like 2 weeks before students would arrive.
Mm-hmm.
So she says to me, let's walk around, I'll show you around, and then we'll go see if you can get you a job.
Right.
Okay. And I remember looking at the parking lot. What are all these paved spaces for?
Right.
Parking. I said, how many faculty are in this university? No, it's for students. That blew me.
Oh, wow.
Like, what? 100? Okay, great. So we go to the office. We meet the security director. He looks at me and, wow, you look exactly like your brother. And he pulls the drawer
Right.
of his desk and he pulls a badge. And he says, oh, this was your brother's badge. And I still have it here. You can now have it. That's how I got a job. There was no interview.
Wow.
And he says, John, come on over. His name was Jim Schumann. He says, give this young man a uniform.
So you wrote on the great credits or the great character that your brother had, that it vouched for you a job.
Absolutely. That time my sister
God.
was working the same department.
Right.
And I was like, oh, security officer, whoa. And they show me around. You get a police radio. You get a key that can open every door in the entire university. They had a...
so you worked within the university?
Correct. So
nice.
University security.
Nice.
But the security is you have a key to every door you can imagine. And card access and finger access. And they have like police looking like vehicles.
Right. That patrol cars.
Yes. And I didn't even have a license.
Wow.
So because of the credibility of my brother, I was actually allowed to practice driving while I worked, so that I can get my in.
Oh, have you sent some money back to your brother just to say thank you?
Yeah. Well, nani usikuwa na kiburi. But anyway, surely these things actually we don't tell our siblings often as we should.
Right.
But the credibility they had built from me, and when I listened to his stories about his experiences there, I just walked in the park. My next job ended up being a bus driver.
Right.
Between St. Ben's and St. John's miles,
Right.
or what, 11 kilometers thereabout. And they used a bus they called the Link. To a big buses, they will take about 70 students.
Right.
My brother had done the same. So when I went in, why was I doing these odd jobs? I was looking for the most paying positions.
Right.
And as a young boy, I always thought driving a matatu was the. So it kind of came in a different life.
It's not the same.
And I really enjoyed driving the bus. I mean, I will bring my own music. I'll play music in the bus, and I'll play choir music. I'm a Catholic on Sundays, and the kids would just love it. They would thought, who is this dude who plays
He's
this
a cool
crazy
bus driver.
Yeah. And, it was so nice. People would walk in and say hi. They walk out and say thank you. And It was a
Right.
very different experience. And then you're taking your classmates with the bus,
Right.
and they respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So even when they find you a security, they respect you. So it was odd jobs that taught me a whole different aspect of how humility works
Right.
and how service to others actually work.
Right.
Because you don't have a big title, but the president of the university, the vice chancellor would call and say, I forgot my key. You drive over there, you open his office, get to meet him, like you are entrusted with the key to the vice chancellor. So it was fascinating. At one point I used to wonder, how much responsibility do I actually have, like roaming around this university? And sometimes there would be like 2 students and 1 officer.
Right.
And when there was a medical, they called you.
Right.
When there was any kind of emergency, any kind of, we responded to sexual assault.
No
Everything
way.
you ever thought about. And people are opening to you with a lot of personal stuff. You are only 20.
Okay, you're only 20.
So there was a lot of things that came with that responsibility, learning, fasting.
Your crisis
Yes.
management, I'm
Correct.
sure, shot to another level.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And even being calm in very strenuous moments.
Yes.
Walking in a crisis and being the voice of reason.
At 20.
At 20, you are expected to perform at that level. So some of these jobs taught you a lot.
Yes. Yes.
So
And I
those are
love
my
that.
first
I
jobs.
think the way you touched on the chancellor and the fact that you could be allowed to open his office and take him his key. It's that hierarchy, the hierarchy thing like, we have in Kenya, ule ni mkubwa, na mwezi mkaribia,
Exactly.
na mwezi, smell the same air sort of thing. That thing was, I found if you really found safe spaces, it was almost non-existent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People, the difference is people give you a responsibility and they mean it.
Right.
You're not a flower girl. You have that key, you're a security officer, you have that vehicle because you can do it. But they also ensure
that you do it.
You can do it.
That's true.
You're trained well enough to comfort level.
Yes.
They would train you on how to lock a building. See this building?
Yes.
You would know every valve, every key card, every corner, every alarm system, every camera.
Wow.
You knew every inch of that building. And there would be a standard formula on how you inspect each floor, each door. If you have to pull the lock down and push,
right,
you do to every door. Don't assume.
Right.
And then the supervisor will go later and do a cross-check.
Wow.
And if you miss one, you can't pass that training. So you realized everything you were doing mattered.
That's true.
So today, sometimes when I see security officers, I get frustrated. Like, this person has zero training. Aki alitoka ushago jana. They are just standing here in a uniform.
Right.
They don't even know anything about this place. They can't give you direction. People yell at them. It's like they have no
self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for the same reason, people don't respect. They don't recognize.
Yes, that it's a job just like any other job.
And then we think of security as physical doors and people standing at the gate. And there they taught me security is the people you know. That's what my boss used to say. You're a peace officer, not a security. Know as many people in this university as you can, and you will find your job very.
Oh, wow.
You can call, you can be on the rooftop, you can be anywhere. And then don't be predictable. If today when I drive home, I know where the police checks are. So I know where I need to slow down and I need to speed up.
Oh, okay. So the Kenyan cops are clearly not kind of in this memo.
January to December, unless there's a crackdown, you know where they stop. They stop.
Yes, that's true.
Right? But there, our security was, you will never know where we are. You were supposed to be constantly on patrol. Foot patrol, bike patrol, use a golf course, cut. They used to have the golf cart.
Right.
Or take the vehicle. Move. Be in a building, walk. But you can't be stuck on the front door. So these are skills that you never would have ever signed up for. But it was an odd job trying to make a little money.
Absolutely. But I liked like your odd jobs had some great sense of dignity, you know, because then on this other side, it was more like CNA jobs, you know, which were a bit rough on you, working with the homes, for older people, you know, and that was challenging, you know. So I would have traded at any point to have your job.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed my security job.
Yeah, because even there was some sense of dignity, you know.
And I'm also very social, so I was in my element. I loved it.
I mean, even now, the way you're talking about it, I'm like, maybe you need to start up a whole farm here. Yeah, because we clearly, you know, and that's what I say when you travel and you go, but when you engage with the global world and you come back, you never look at your country the same way. No. You constantly are seeing opportunities. You're constantly seeing spaces of innovation, you know, and I just feel like you never look at problem the same way. No. Because there's a way the problems used to overwhelm me here. Yeah. And after experiencing the global world, you just come back and you're like, you've been toughened, like you're like, I will get through. Right. I may not have the answer today. Right. I may not have it tomorrow. Right. But if I keep looking at this thing, I will eventually get a way out of this, you know? Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about my American experience. It really created a sense of just endless courage in me. Like, you gotta do this. Exactly. And you have to speak up. Exactly. Yeah.
Totally agree with you.
And so I'm looking at, okay, so now, do you have any challenges? And then also we can look at also, you know, what were the life, you know, just the life lessons. Okay, we've already touched on that, but just like some takeaway homes, like something that was so significant to you from interacting with that culture in Minnesota.
In terms of challenges, get to the takeaways. Yeah. Back to my naive self, I really underestimated what culture shock was going to be. I remember, I think it was like 4 months in, must have been 5. Because I got there in August. This time, like January, you're joining second term semester, the dead of winter. Minnesota has probably the most serious winter in the entire of the state.
Really?
Temperatures dropped to -60. Real temperature in Fahrenheit. So that would be what it's like -10. I mean, it gets cold beyond cold.
Right.
I remember calling my brother. This time he's a student at George Mason. And I'm telling him,
I'm done.
I just want you to, for the rest of your, just pay my flight. I will never bother you again. I promise.
Is it that you got so frozen till your mind got frozen?
No, I think, you know the way you umejituma. You are there, you're saying today, my accent, it's okay. My this, it's okay. My that, it's fine. But it kind of drains you to a point where you are no longer functioning.
Right.
Like things are not working.
Right.
And that's not what it feels like at the moment. You just feel like you need to get out of it.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, we didn't learn much about it.
Yes, and no one had a lot of understanding what it was.
Back then, you used to buy a scratch card to call home.
Yes.
$5, the thing will run out like this.
In the middle of the most important conversation.
Exactly. Sometimes you call mom and she can't understand what you're trying to explain. So, so I got to that moment where at the time we had that institution to this day, so thankful for them because the international students had a special office. There was a lady we used to call Mama Adi because she was like our mother. You know? So it was at this safe space you could go and just cry and just say whatever. Right. And she seemed to find a way to keep you moving. She knew she had done this.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things she would do, she would identify a student or a group of students where she felt like we didn't have many African students. Right. You know? So my friends were West Africans and that. And they got you through. Because they knew how you felt and you found community. And that was important. So that really hits. And it comes and goes in waves. But I think that was the worst point to transition and kind of accept that this is my new. Then I think for takeaways, I like to give examples. Sometimes, and this is on a comparison aspect, I remember going to open a bank account. Told, okay, it's a form, somebody there to help you. Make sure you got it right. You take it there, the bank account is open immediately. You have your access done. Like every system works like clockwork.
And then it's like
It don't
clockwork.
matter who you are, who you know, who you don't know, what color you are. People might judge you, but they will serve you.
Yes.
And you will feel like, wow, this thing works,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The next thing I'll say is time. Time. I never knew how expensive time was.
Especially coming from a rural setting,
Right.
into that's some serious culture shock.
I remember the professor who called me again.
Oh wow!
Late? It started 9:50. I was here 9:52. Yeah, you're late.
So you're 2 minutes late.
Yes.
Wow.
That's late. Like, don't discuss it. Then, you would go to church. 5 minutes before 10, the parking lot will up.
Wow.
5 minutes after 11, the parking lot. Like, if the
They
priest
didn't have time to say hello to the priest and
No.
figure out how the priest
No,
is
if you
doing.
don't complete that mass in 59 minutes,
We're out of here.
the board will have a conversation with you.
Oh wow.
Like, no. Like, time. Time matters. You go to an event, you invite me to your house.
Right.
You tell me what time it starts, what time it ends.
Right.
What is the agenda? What is the dress code?
Right.
So 5 minutes before, the parking lot fills up. 5 minutes after 7, if the party was 7, nobody else will show up.
But see, I didn't like that,
Right.
especially for party settings or for social settings.
No, I think here what I'm trying to get to is how people respect time. You feel so respected, and you also feel so disrespected if it doesn't happen.
Right.
The problem is when that gets in you, it can't get out.
Yeah.
To date, that is one thing I value. If it doesn't matter if it's my wife and we're going to just, I don't know, a neighbor's thing, I will be stressed out. And I don't know how to explain. I just get stressed out.
And so those are those things that didn't leave you even after coming
Yes.
back to Kenya. Okay.
So usually I'll tell my friends, hey, tunakutana Saturday. What time? 2. Sawa. I call, Mike, what time do you want me? Kimeu, you come at 4.
On your pissed.
Because they know I'll be there at 2.
Right.
And they will be wondering, surely, dude, nobody comes on time.
So, kind of how I adjusted on that. I was
Right.
like, for social settings in Kenya, that time thing is not so crucial.
Yeah.
So give 30, give 15, depending on the person.
Right.
That still works.
Right.
So kind of just to ease myself, I kind of work with that.
Right.
And then of course now for professional meetings, workplaces and everything, I really try and keep the time.
Right.
But I'm still 5 minutes, 10 minutes
Yeah.
late of a person because I came and I was just so, like this is how, and my mom was
Right.
just like, honey, you're back in Africa. You just gotta tone down on some things.
I feel like there's something that flipped and never left me.
So that is one. I think what never left me is good coffee. Like I know, like you can't serve me bad coffee. I'm just like, no, I'm not
Leave it
gonna drink
alone,
that. No.
The fresh brewed coffee.
Yes, the fresh brewed coffee.
Those instant coffees become a joke after that.
Yes. I'm just like the machine coffees. No, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna drink that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that never left me.
Yeah, I think time has sat with me.
Okay.
I remember in my previous job, I had a supervisory role for a team. At one point, I said to them, find me in the meeting room. Don't come in.
Wow. These are Kenyans you're talking
Yes.
to. Okay.
And this was an institution with a very serious culture of we are laid back. But I said, given my position, I can't change it. But within like 3 months, that problem disappeared.
Wow.
And everybody showed up on time. Meetings were ending on time. Because when the clock was done, we will end the meeting there.
Right.
So either you don't run the meeting, you didn't schedule enough time, or it doesn't matter. Otherwise, even today, somebody mentioned the other day, hey, James, I'm always sure at least I will find you on the call.
That's good.
Right? Because you will see a difference between the African meetings
Yes.
and when we have our Western friends,
Right.
right, colleagues. Everybody shows up, cameras on. The African meetings,
We're still positioning the camera. And I raise my hand and say I'm one of
most
them.
people don't even show up. Yesterday, I had about 4 or 5 meetings. And all the morning meetings up to the last one, they were within the African teams. And the late one, I think, was 5 p.m.
Right.
Was
The last
the-
one.
So I logged it. It's the first one in the call. And the other guys come in. And I see camera on, crap, camera on. And it just hit me. I was like, I've been on calls all day. There was never camera on. And none of those meetings were started on time. But this one, clockwork.
They understood
5,
virtual,
boom.
and all the cameras were on.
And they were on.
Wow.
Even the Africans had their cameras on. I said, culture is amazing.
I know,
Right?
because I don't, and it's so funny that you say that, because I've observed that when you're having international online meetings,
Right.
the cameras go on.
Yes.
But when you're having with Africans,
Correct.
they're like, I don't want you to see where I am. And there's like an unsaid rule.
Yes. Yes.
Like we don't like cameras in our private places.
Yep.
So my voice should be enough to present me in the meeting. That's very interesting. I also touched on how faith worked for you. You were just speaking on how you played Catholic music in the bus.
In the bus, yes.
Because you loved the choir.
So I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
I went to a junior seminary for high school.
Oh, wow.
And the goal was to get me a priest. Imagine.
I was just about to ask that. Were you planning to be a priest?
Planning, I don't know. But maybe others were planning.
Or others were planning. This is before the village girl.
I thought about it, right? I mean, high school, I'm like, all right, cool, priest, I got to a point where I could recite the entire mass from my head, okay?
Oh,
we had daily
wow.
mass, daily rosary, morning prayer, evening prayer. I mean, it was a seminary, okay?
Wow.
But going to the US, something drastically changed. Walking to mass, there's not many people.
Right.
There's amazing musical equipment. Whether you're talking about
Organs,
the piano,
right.
the organ, the guitars, the name it, they have it.
State of the art.
It's one guy playing the piano and a cantor. One old lady singing. Then they sing the same song this Sunday, next Sunday, and the following Sunday, and there are only 3 songs. The entrance one, so do one katikati somewhere, and one at the end. Well, clearly we have to fit it in within 1 hour.
Right.
The priest has 7.5 minutes to preach, whatever. But that threw me off because I was a drummer in high school.
Oh, okay.
I sang in our local choirs and had competitions, and I was always playing an instrument. To this day, I play the kayamba in church. Like, I was like, what am I supposed to do? This is weird. And then I didn't feel the community.
Right.
There's no Jumuiya this. There's no, I don't know, Matega that. Nothing.
Right.
People come and go, and that's it. So I really, by the time I got to 3rd year, I dropped completely. I was not going to church. Actually, 2nd year, I didn't attend church one day. I quit. I listened to my choir music, and I did my own thing. Until one friend told me, why don't you go to church? And I told her, I'm struggling. Then she said, no. The College of St. Benedict Mass is more fun. It's student mass.
Right.
And we actually, we're not that good, but we play a few things.
Right. And we are more vibrant and more community oriented.
So I never joined the choir because I didn't like. You had to learn all the notes and the music, and I was not like, all right, forget this. I'm just going to go. Then I kind of resumed to church. But I think, to your question in terms of faith,
right.
I don't think faith is necessarily going to church.
Right. And I'm not even...
Right. I think faith is more like, what is your fallback? What is it that drives you? What is your higher power? What does that look like? I would say it grew in very interesting. Today I go to church.
Okay.
I listen to the preacher. Sometimes when you go outside your community, live in a different environment, and you see somebody here waking up in the very early morning at church because choir,
Right.
then you're there till 5 because you're in this. But you are a working lady, you are working Monday to Friday, you're busy. When do you spend time with family?
Right.
In America, that was a very serious thing. Most people on Sundays will go to that church, run out, and go to brunch.
Right. Because they have to be with family.
Right. And they will actually, you saw different family values.
For Sabbath. That is true.
Right? People really actually meaningfully do this kind of. It might be 1 hour, but it's very meaningful and intentional.
That's true.
Sometimes even when we meet our own friends here, especially men, you talk. But you say,
Yeah.
come on, how is Mike? Yes, a young one. Yeah, I mentioned, I don't know how old. Oh, this happened to Mike. You don't know. Is the wife feeling better? We did not talk about that. So what do you talk about?
That's true.
Where's your intentionality in this thing? So I think my faith grew in the sense that I wanted to, what does it mean for me to be a man of faith?
Right.
What values does that carry?
Okay, that's deep.
What do I bring to people?
Right.
What do people see in me? So that is what changed me. And I had a moment, unlike all my other life in Kenya, where my parents decided the high school I went, which church we should be, sometimes which Jumuiya, sometimes which faction of the church you should belong and what you do. I was an altar boy. Here you had a choice.
Right.
For once, you sit, just like you start to think, what do I do? Do I take this subject or do I do this major or this other one? Do I go here or don't I? Do I join this club or I don't? There was nobody to tell you do or don't.
Right.
And so that is the opportunity for me that. Then America offered something you never find here, solitude.
Mm.
A moment for you. The Americans, they call it a long time.
Right.
I thought it was very strong. Times now I really appreciate. I can go to the gym and I don't want to talk to you. Just
Alone time. That's true.
I'll go to Karura for a run. I like a run because you can't think while you are running.
Right.
Now when you're walking, you can wander, your mind can go and come back. When you're running, you have to focus on breathing. So all thoughts are interrupted. You learn how to know you.
Yes, and be still with you.
Yeah, and face you. You know there are devils we never face.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you're always with people.
Absolutely, and you're not working on yourself. Yes. I say the greatest growth you can ever have is, I always say that when I reflect back, the younger Jinna and the Jinna now are two very different.
Right.
Yeah, because of growth, and that growth has been facilitated by many things in my life, whether it's career, leadership, and now you're married and, marriage in itself and also being a parent reveals a lot of great graces you have and great weaknesses that you have. And you're always confronted with whether you're going to run away or whether you're really going to work on that person to become a better person.
Most of us never. It's the sad part.
So I hate that. So you see, I don't want to be that.
Right.
As much as I don't like what has come out, I would like to see a perfect Jinna, but I always tell my husband, I'm like, you have no idea how much growth you have caused me to be. And I feel like, when it comes time for me to go to the other side, I'll be like, I came in life and I grew. It's like a potted plant.
Right.
You want to remain the same stunted, tiny little thing, or do you want to be a huge oak tree because you allowed life to pull out virtue in you, Yeah, so I do love the growth process. And I think that if there's any country that expedites your growth process, I don't think there's another country like America.
I don't think so.
It's a melting point of cultures.
It really forces you
right.
to really think. I was talking to a colleague. I was telling her, sometimes I get frustrated with how people talk about people or talk about themselves.
Right.
She said, what would you say? Most stories told, especially when you're successful, I did this and, I grew up really poor and, I came out of this way. And it's I. And it's like almost like you're superhuman.
Right.
And where we never pause is to say, how did I see that opportunity? Who pulled me into that opportunity?
Absolutely. There was a village.
Right? And we don't give credit because we actually generally don't sit down, reflect, and think hard about it. Right? Even when I tell this story and I mention my brother, I mention Jim Schumann who gave me the first job.
Right.
My sister who pushed me through the next thing. Even for jobs, even for businesses, the things you end up succeeding on, usually there are touch points that are so critical, but we never pause, reflect, and give gratitude or appreciation or embrace that moment. And I think part of it is I go back to this aspect of faith. We tend to have this blanket cover called God.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe some people talk to God. I don't. I talk to God through people.
Yeah.
He has agents on earth.
Right.
Like he had Moses and Abraham and the rest of them.
But you still need to talk to God, John Kimeu.
I agree with you, but I'm saying those
God
moments,
has moved through people and we refuse to recognize them. Yes.
So we blanket God.
And I think that's on the flip side of that because there are moments where you can really say there were Red Sea moments. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where it's really not the intervention of man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
a divine moment.
It's a divine moment.
Yes.
Seriously, this is divine.
Right.
And then there's a moment where God uses people. And I think what you're really touching on is the pride of man is to try and make it obsolete. Like this village didn't help you, And I think that's a very wrong view of looking at life.
Right.
Yeah, because people have moved out of their way to show you goodness.
Yes.
They have shown you favor.
Correct.
They referred you,
Right.
or their character opened a door for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I try as much as possible to, when I'm present with those people, to let them know, hey, man, thanks for doing this for me,
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest problems I have in our generation is that what we call the issue of discipleship is that idea of people not understanding how do you honor doors, how do you honor the bosses who open doors for you, how do you honor, how do you and how do you not also cross boundaries with them just because those people are nice to you, they're not your bank account or ATM.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you ever struggle with the whole idea of black tax? Now that you landed in America, people at home thought you were plucking dollars from trees.
I am very privileged.
That you didn't.
My father, to today, always a man of very big,
Very good.
and he always punches beyond his weight.
Oh, no.
So when I went to St. John's University, a university that required $30,000 a year,
Oh, wow.
surely we didn't have one of those thousands left after that flight ticket.
Yeah.
So I remember my brother sending 3,500 straight. That was
Yeah, because also he had to leave. He had to
Exactly.
take care of himself.
so between scholarship and all these odd jobs. But the beauty of it was I didn't also have the other challenge most of the time,
Right.
which was a father sitting at home waiting for money, a mother waiting for the house, a sister waiting to do what,
Right.
the auntie expecting you to sort this.
Yes.
So we did not receive calls
That's good.
to give money.
Right.
Later, maybe we will, contribute to foods in the village. Wedding. It was a way of feeling connected and staying relevant to people's lives. But I really did
But it was not a burden.
No, it was
Okay.
never a burden. I saw some of my friends quit school
Yes.
because the pressure was too high.
Right,
They
right,
couldn't
right.
come home
Yes.
because they were expected to bring gifts and everything.
Yes, and not just gifts. I mean, literally, they became the ATM for
Exactly.
the family. I didn't have an experience like that, but I saw a lot of immigrants
Yep.
and how much of a burden it
Exactly.
was. And I remember I just said, if I ever get the opportunity to speak to people in Africa about how they relate with people in Western countries, especially their relatives, is to just remember that they are too going through challenges
Yes.
like you are,
Yes.
and probably even challenges you will never understand because they are in a foreign country.
Absolutely.
And so if they are able to send anything little, honor it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And just remember that they are seeking genuine connections.
Yes.
That don't view them as ATMs,
Exactly.
And so, and this is also part of the
But
reason.
to your point, Gina, I remember telling some of my friends, we kind of brought this to ourselves.
Oh, why would you say that?
I'll tell you what I used to do. I came home every
Oh, okay.
I missed coming home the first year, 2006, I didn't come.
Mm,
But every year since I was home at least once.
mm.
So we would start looking for tickets in 6 months before. So we'll come mostly in December.
And so you get them quite cheap.
So you get tickets as cheap as you can get them. Sometimes you'll lose fund there, like whatever it took, right?
I took 18 hours to get home.
Exactly. It didn't matter. 27 hours? Sure, sign me up. Sleep on Brussels, on the floors there for 12 hours waiting to catch a flight. Fine. So you get your credit card, you swipe it, you buy an $870 ticket.
Right.
Hold on it. So now you pay. So by the time we are getting now to August, ticket paid, sorted.
Right.
Now you go to summer sales and start buying a few people, a few things,
Right.
whatever you're bringing. And then the last 3 months you're saving at least 1,000.
Right.
Now you have 2 weekends. So I usually got here a little bit midweek, go home, see my parents. Kent, my sister is waiting for me to hit the city.
Right.
Piga sherehe, spend 20K, do you care? You go home for a few, go see your aunties, do you where? You come back the next weekend, piga sherehe, you leave.
Right.
The impression you have left.
Okay.
Sometimes
Because I'm
you'll even-
balling.
Yeah, you're here for 2 weeks, you even rent a car. Okay? So the impression you have left people with, sasa shida, is when you get back.
Right. Because you cannot keep up with the
Those
image.
2 weeks, you didn't work.
Right.
No paycheck is coming.
Absolutely.
And you are broke than ever. Other than the unga you brought from home. The next, 4 weeks for you to have some level of catch up. You worked day and night, 70 hours a week, it didn't matter.
Right.
So the impression you leave home and the hustler life you're driving in America, 2 different things.
Right.
So sometimes you come from a village where people are needy, they will look at you and say, wow, my son came with a car. My son did this. Unafika
Right.
nyumbani unanunua nyama ya kilo 5. I mean, how much is it? Once you are translating dollar, you're like,
That's
only
very little.
$10.
Okay. Makes sense.
So the attitude sometimes we brought with us
Right. During
left
the
a very.
visits.
You have your cousins who you grew up with, bado they are here in Kole,
Yes.
staying in the college dorms or I don't know where. They don't have much, and you brought them out now, ukanunua pombe.
Right.
So we also brought this attitude that people had. And then we had a sense of complaint. There's an
Right.
article I read once, and it described me. And from that moment, it forced me to change.
Wow.
The way You come after 2 years, you're complaining, barabara zenu, my potholes, this is my don't know what. Oh my God, the
Maji
city is too
mitungi.
loud. Oh my God, you people, oh my God, where we come from. I went to the bank, I did. So that article writer had said, surely, can you not appreciate the people who live there every day trying to make a difference? What difference are you creating? You're coming here to just whine and do something about it, ama nyamaza.
That's true. That's also the attitude I got, yes. If you're not going to change it, you cannot whine about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So be part of the solution. Don't just come here and tell us, where you live. Uko sio kwenu pia. So it really hit me, and I said, some of these attitudes we bring.
Right.
I mean, I've seen people go to America for 2 years, and they come back and they say, I can't speak Kikamba. Excuse me. For 20 years you spoke this language, but now you...
Oh, how about me? I couldn't speak it, but because of the culture shock, I came back more fluent. I had a reverse one. My mom was like, I've been trying to teach you this thing for 19 years. You could, now you're speaking. Of course, it was bad, you know.
Right.
But I was just like, just that, I always say America pushes you to find your sense of belonging.
Yes.
Like, who are you,
Yes.
right. I mean, now you want to eat githeri for breakfast. I'm like, me?
What's my problem?
Yeah. I mean, I would, it just pushes you to like, what is unique about me?
Yes.
What am I as a person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you just want to embrace that, fully.
For me, it wowed me in second year, and we are getting exemptions for foreign languages.
Oh, wow.
Because why? You are multilingual. Like, you didn't know another language. I was multilingual. I could speak Kiswahili, Kikamba, English.
You never thought of yourself as multilingual?
No, man, like, everybody used to think, you unashrap. Toka hapa.
Right.
Here it was like...
Yes, it was
I didn't know the
upon.
refined sheng because I never grew up in the city, right?
Right.
So you never actually cared to even scream your last name. Even the reason I say I go by Kimeu, because I feel like... By the way, unajua nini? Mtajua kuipronounce.
And did they mispronounce it?
Oh, yeah. Kimeu, every name. And then I actually retained my name, James. When I was growing up, they used to call me Jimmy. To the village today, my cousins, they still say Jimmy. But that name, when I was growing up, maybe I was too cheeky or I was a very scrawny kid, whatever, it just made me feel small.
Right.
So when I went to high school, I tried to claim the James name and I kind of stayed with it, until people knew there was a Jimmy somewhere and came back. Went to the US, people struggled. I remember going to the hospital once, and the lady came out 3 times. Jimmy? Jim. And then she comes out and says, James. And she said, Kimeu. She really butchered that last name. And I went, she was like, I've been calling. So do you go by Jim or James? Or Jimmy? I said, James. Yes, but is it Jim or Jimmy? I said, no, it's James.
No Jimmy, no nothing.
And I said, I will claim my name. Like, actually, no, I don't want your nicknames.
Right.
And you need to pronounce my last, okay? Yeah, because...
Yeah, if I can pronounce Charlotte, you surely can pronounce Kimeu.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I'm here pronouncing Macmillan. Look, man, work with me. So there was that moment of pride to be a Kamba. And that's why I started by saying I'm a proud Kamba. Because when you're little, you're beaten in school, you can speak good English, Kiswahili, wacha kuongea Kikamba. Why?
Yes.
It's so much value to the language.
Right.
And one day you wake up and you realize, somebody asked me a very straight, which language do you think? Talking to my mother and I'm Kikamba? I think I'm thinking Kikamba. Surely, I don't think my head is translating anything because I'm thinking Kikamba.
Right.
But when I'm in the office and I'm addressing my professional things, I think I'm thinking in English because it just flows.
Right.
And then you realize this is a talent. This is a very unique skill.
Absolutely. And you don't have to necessarily lean on one. Your mind is able to understand the environment you're in and switch gears. Yeah. Well,
and more fascinating when you're talking to somebody who can understand your language. You keep flipping and switching, and people think, wow.
That is true. I never actually looked at it like that because very few people actually in America are multilingual. Yeah. That's true.
It's very rare to find, and that's why they take offense. If you're sitting here and we say something in a different language, the other people take offense. Like, what are you two talking about?
Right.
But they're so sensitive to a different language because it's
or even
different.
A different accent.
Right.
Which I shared before. I was like, guys, this also language that you speak is not the origin of the English language, So it's broken to some extent, It's not when you're getting back your bride, You're just like, I'm so tired of you correcting me. It is water. It doesn't have to be water or whatever. Yeah. So I think that grew my confidence to another level. And just to ask why And to push, not, if you say no to me, I'm just like, oh, you better give me another answer.
The person who gave me the most confidence in terms of accents, on the campus, we don't have H.
Yes, that's a
So
challenge.
where you're saying hair, they all sound the same, right? Even my kids make fun of me. And if there's somebody who gave me confidence, we hosted Wangari Maathai.
Oh, nice.
Twice.
Oh, nice. I just met her.
When I was an undergrad and when I was in grad school.
Oh, great.
And at undergrad, there was only 2 Kenyan.
Oh, wow.
So we spent 2 full days with her everywhere.
Oh, nice.
We got exempted from classes. Me and Ifi Shani, she was from Rwanda. And she lived in Kenya.
Weren't you like royalty? I mean, Wangari Maathai was royalty in the US.
And then this was right after Nobel.
Ooh.
So it was like, boom. So,
that was a brilliant moment. There's surely greatness in you, Kimeu. I mean, all these things that are happening, you need to really talk to God. Be like, okay, I get it. Why am I seated with kings from almost being a king, a priest, not being a priest? All these, there's something.
I'm going to need that intervention. I'm going to go. But you see, Wangari Maathai had a very, very thick accent. She gave a lecture.
That's true.
And then we were in every different meeting. And when I was in grad school, she came again because I did social justice and we hosted her and it was a small class. And being from Kenya, of course.
Nice.
And I just found this not only brilliant, not only recognized worldwide, but confident. She will speak and she will tell them, I was a village Kikuyu girl.
Right.
But she was the first one to earn a PhD, I don't know in Kenya. And I was like, but her accent was so thick. It was so Kikuyu accent.
Right.
That's the day I dropped, you shrubs, you say what? I tell you what, it's because I actually know other languages that make me do that. And I can think in them. I know proverbs in those languages you cannot understand.
Right.
So
I think for me, it wasn't even that. It was just, no matter how much I tried, they still would pick that I have an accent. So I was like, yeah, I have it. It got to a point I was like, are you going to die trying or just own that you have an accent and I'm not American?
Right.
Yeah. So I just came to that. It was like a plateau.
Right.
Like, I've tried enough. I'm done trying. This is me. Receive me or not.
Adopt the Bahamian attitude.
Yes. It was just like, I don't care, Yeah. So I was just like, this is me. Right. My intelligence is not reflected in my accent.
Exactly.
And I think there was that moment. I can't remember what triggered it. I guess maybe a sequence of events that I was like, my intelligence is not in my accent. That I can have a very heavy accent, but right. I'm very brilliant. It's just that you're causing me to speak in a different language. So yeah, that's it for us for now.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing guest. I would like to have you again. I feel like we haven't combed through a lot of, what do you call it?
You will have a lot of work piecing this together.
No, we'll have a lot of fun work. But I feel like you have a lot, wealth of information that the viewers would gather from. Maybe you should also really look into starting your podcast. But but thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your vulnerability.
Yeah, thank you very much.